I did take dance for a few years in Vermilion and in Yankton, and that's what got me into twirling. Was I saw at one of the recitals a twirler performing, and I just knew that's what I wanted to do. So fall rec sign up came around at the Armory, and she put the baton in my hand, and from that moment I knew I did a trick. I was hooked, and from there I got into group twirling, and she thought I had what it took to be a solo competitor, so I did that. And then at my first contest, I got the trophy in my hands from a first place, and I was just like, wow, this is what I want to be doing. This is wonderful. Basically, the very first thing is obviously having competencies and enough tricks to make a routine. In competitive twirling, you have to have, there's a time range, usually 1:30 to 2 minutes, and so you have to be able to fill a routine with that. And obviously, there are different categories, 5 on the score sheet, including variety, difficulty. So you have to consider a number of aspects when making even a novice solo. So they need to know a variety of tricks, different patterns, being like horizontal this way to vertical, how to switch, rolls, finger twirls, different varieties of tricks compose a solo. Breaking down tricks was something I enjoyed doing. I liked learning, seeing each little individual component and body movement that goes into a trick. I mean, baton twirling gets very, very complex, especially on a national and world competitive level. And so it's kind of hard to describe just in an interview, but I had a private lesson coach, of course, so she was the USD featured twirler a few years back, and she was my first coach, and I transitioned to a studio in Omaha when she graduated, where I am still with my current coach. So I had weekly lessons that I drove down to Omaha. We'd work on my solo. I went to a lot of camps and clinics to get exposure on a national level from a variety of coaches, and there's just style differences all over the country. So I was exposed to different styles, and so I guess I just got it from a variety of sources, variety of coaches. And usually I'm able to kind of just watch and get into it, but obviously a coach will be able to see what you're actually doing. Like, I can't see if the baton is rolling on my neck, I can't see it, I can only feel it. So the coach will be able to give you that little bit of maybe lift your shoulder, drop your arm. So it's kind of hard to describe how you learn a trick. They're all very different, but that's kind of the basics. For me, has always just been, I like to watch it happen first, and then I'll try it. I'm kind of fearless in twirling. I'm willing to try something crazy just for fun, otherwise why do twirling? Like, that's the most amazing thing about it, is doing these jaw-dropping tricks that people haven't seen before. Baton always was my love and my passion, and my parents really felt like with everything that we put into twirling, time, money, travel, that I needed to choose what I wanted to do, and hands down it was twirling, and I was fine with that. But it was actually hard because no one around here could relate. Once Heather left, the old coach, no one really kept twirling except for me, and so then I had my studio in Omaha, and it was just kind of like having two separate worlds, my twirling world and my everyday school world. While I was still involved in school, I was in a lot of other things, band and quiz bowl, student council, whatever, what have you, but I rarely actually talked about it because my peers just really couldn't understand. It's really been college that people really wanted to hear a lot about it, which has been a really rewarding thing for me. The most difficult times of my life is a time where I thought that I had cancer. For a month of my life, I believed that I had cancer. I had 2 doctors based on the test results that were coming back and the blood test, etc. Not exactly diagnosed me. I mean, it wasn't formal, but they essentially told my parents, after surgery we'd be looking at chemotherapy, radiation. It was right here. I had inflamed lymph nodes. And so prior to surgery, it was just a really dark time. I'd been sick for a really long time prior to that, and this was just kind of the tipping point of I need to do something. So surgery was scheduled. This was the May of my sophomore year, and it was honestly the most horrifying experience. I was so young, it felt like my health had been taken from me. I might die, I might not live to see graduation. I was at a really good time of twirling too. I'd gotten my first boyfriend. It was a great time. And so I guess surgery happened, and miraculously I didn't have cancer. I don't know how 2 doctors could get it wrong, but the biopsy came back negative. It was just some crazy infection. But that still had taken a great toll on my body. I'd been out of twirling for a few months, and I had nationals in July, and this was May, and so I guess it was a really great motivator to get back into it. I worked maybe harder than I ever have in my life. I'm a hard worker as it is, but I was in the gym constantly. I could barely even make it through a routine without falling on the floor because I didn't have the endurance anymore. So I really am proud of myself always, because I came back and I placed top 10 in nationals in every event. I'm really proud of how far I've come.